Hi, welcome to Get Pod Local.
I'm Joey Cade, and the first time I voted was in 1992 for Bill Clinton, and I had volunteered for the campaign, and my dad, my sister, and I went to the election night party, and it was so much fun. The balloons dropped, and I was like, ooh, politics is fun.
And I'm Jalon Nichols, and the first election I voted in was in 2000 for Gore Bush. I also lived in Ohio at the time.
Remember that literally on the news every day was like them giving us a reporting on what had happened with the Chads over the past day? Like, I remember being like, this is really what they're going to cover on the news? They're going to tell us these ones were sort of folded this way and these ones were bumped that way.
You were on the outside. Let me tell you. Inside, it was weird too.
It was?
It was weird too.
No, it seemed crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy. Crazy's right.
But you're still voting. Thank you for that.
You know, I keep in my brain all the people who fought hard for me to have this right.
Yeah.
It's frustrating how hard they make it. It's frustrating how we still have this electoral college that
Screws us
completely.
You know, Stacey Abrams recently launched a podcast, and her very first episode was about like things that I wish could happen. And she covered two things, which is like reforming the Senate, you know, but her number one thing before that even was eliminating the electoral college because it's just racist bullshit and it's ruining the country.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's racist. It's 1000% racist. It's the North had more white men than the South did, but the South had more humans because of plantations, slavery, and they made a law that black people were not legally 100% human. We were 3/5 human. So that's where the electoral college comes in. It's like we can't count all these bodies as actual people who could vote because they don't have rights, but we need to have some type of ability to be level with the North with all their white people. That's basically what it is. So we're not joking. Everything is racist, but like this is factually on the books racist.
Absolutely.
Yeah. On today's show, we are walking you through your ballot, no matter where you live.
And later, we're going to talk to State Representative Mihaela Plesa about her race for re-election in HD 70.
Your vote is your voice in November. If they didn't think you were powerful, they would not be trying to suppress it.
And also, we're going to bring up our newsletter again and why you need it.
Vote.
Hey everyone, it's voting rights attorney Louis Bedford. I want to take a moment to talk to you about the incredible voter protection efforts happening right here in Dallas County. Our mission is simple, to ensure that every eligible voter is able to have their ballots both cast and counted. From monitoring polling locations, poll watchers, to providing real-time support in our boiler room, our volunteers are on the front line making sure that every vote counts. But voter protection isn't about what happens on election day, it starts now with early voting. We're working to train our poll workers, educate voters and volunteers, and ensure that each and every person knows their rights. But none of this amazing work happens without you. Whether you're volunteering as a poll watcher or helping to spread the word in your community, every action makes a difference. Together, we can make sure that every voter in the city of Dallas can cast their ballot with confidence. If you need any assistance or if you would like to join the voter protection team, please email voterprotection@dallasdemocrats.org or call the Dallas County Democratic Party headquarters at 214-821-8331. With this, I'm happy to be a part of the Get Pod Local podcast family to make sure that the people in Dallas know what's on the ballot and how it impacts them.
That was our friend Louis Bedford IV making sure you know you have support when you cast your ballot. We'll have more info in our episode guide on what to do if you have any issue while voting.
Right. And in our episode guide, we'll make sure we have anybody that you need to know if you have any issues, their phone numbers. We're hoping you won't need this, but just in case, we'll have it ready for you.
Exactly. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst.
Always. Later, we're going to walk you through your ballot so you're prepared for the important things. Like, who are all these people I need to know all of a sudden? Not the ones you see on TV all the time, but like the local folks.
Like who?
Like there's the U.S. House of Representatives, and then there's the state representatives in the Texas House.
Yeah, it's confusing. It's confusing. We'll discuss that a bit later, right? But first, let's talk to a Texas State House representative running for re-election.
Joining us now is Mihaela Plesa, state rep for House District 70.
Does 70 cover any of the city of Dallas?
Yes. So I'm I'm in the part of far north Dallas that is like at the tollway, like George Bush tollway, like where Frankfurt is, that whole area.
Yep.
And it goes all the way to the Dallas North Tollway. It actually goes to Midway.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah.
So, and then it goes all the way to kind of like where Richardson is, like 75. So it's that whole like far north
Yep.
Dallas. When I won my runoff, because I had a primary, like a runoff and a general, I only won by 29 votes.
Oh my goodness.
Every vote counts. 29 votes?
Wow.
Can you imagine?
No. Did it have to be recounted like 10 times?
No, thank
Wow.
God. It was terrifying, but
Oh
it
my
was
God.
me. It was me and two other candidates in that primary. And the vote literally came down. Like the difference between us was literally 29 votes. Like between me and the person
The next
in first
one,
place.
and then the next
And
one?
yeah,
Wow.
it was almost a perfect third.
Wow.
I tell that story because it just shows you like that could be you.
Yeah.
I think I won that race that night because I shook everyone's hand that was waiting in line. They were there at 7. You know, if you're
Yeah.
in line by 7, you have to vote.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was 7, and those were the people that were there. And I literally like shook their hand and looked them in the eye. And I was like, if you vote for me tonight, we will win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think it was like the last 29 people.
Yeah.
Seriously,
Yeah.
you clinched it. You clinched it
Wow.
right there. That is amazing.
But like
Sweet.
that primary was
Yeah,
literally,
yeah.
and that was my first race ever. It was the first time I was ever on the
No
ballot.
way.
And then the early voting, that's why I say vote early.
Yes,
the early
vote
voting
October
numbers came and I
21st.
was last.
Yeah.
And I
No
looked at my
way.
husband or my fiance and I was like, I am so sorry I did this to us.
He's like, hold on, they're still counting.
He okay, my man loves me so much, but he was like, girl, you need to snap out of it. Like I needed that tough love at that moment because he was like, look at me. You wanted to do this. He was like, you knew this could have happened. He's like, you need to get yourself together.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, you need to go out there. You need to be with the people that have supported you this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever it is, we're going to do this together. But I don't want to hear this. Like, they're still counting.
Yeah.
You were all in.
Yeah, and I was just like, oh my God. Because I was just mortified. And
I've never thought of that before, but it must be really hard because you're at the end of early voting and then you have to wait 3 more days before election day, which if you're, behind right then,
And
that
I
would
was
be a
so
hard
far
3
back,
days.
I thought I was first, y'all.
All right. What got you into politics?
Trump.
Really?
Love that.
What does that mean when you say that?
Girl, I remember being on my couch, 2016. My fiance was like, Hillary's gonna win. We should watch Fox News. This will be great. And then he went to bed early, and I was left on the couch with Fox News.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And like I went to the bedroom. I was very upset. I woke my fiance up and I was like, Trump won. And he was like, don't play. And I was like, no, Trump won. And I just remember the next day I was like, felt like I had to do something. And then like the next day felt like I had to do something. And like the next week. And then it was like the Women's March, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Y'all remember that?
Oh,
And-
yeah. I went to D.C.
And I was working with my friend at the time on our small business. Check it out, hiddenbeastswim.com. Shameless plug.
No shame.
no
No
shame.
shame.
And I mean, we were successful. You know, I was going to Fashion Week, Miami Swim Week. We were showing our collection. And I was just kept feeling like so empty. And just like I needed to do more than just march and protest and vote and talk to my non-political social group about how important these elections are.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so I quit my job.
Wow.
I took my 2 little political science degrees to Austin. And I just asked every state representative in the 87th legislative session if they would hire me. It was like that next year, like that 2017 session.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll make y'all's coffee.
Anything.
I can make a good copy. I can put a binder together.
Yep.
Just started as an unpaid intern. Just really wanted to figure out how I can make change from within. And it was never about running for office. It was always about like, what can I do with what God has given me, the talent, the passion to like make these changes. And then worked as an intern, went back, worked as a legislative director, went back, passed bills, you know, that I thought were meaningful as a staffer, right?
Yeah.
And then when this district came open, I was like, oh my God, let's run for office, you know? And no one but like my mama and, you know, God thought that like I could win it.
Yeah.
But you know what I never thought about doing? I never thought about going to DC and storming the Capitol.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who would think to do that?
Not
Who-
patriots.
Not
Yeah.
patriots.
Yeah.
Which every Republican on the ballot needs to answer the question, who won the 2020 election? Is the number one issue that needs to be asked by and answered by every Republican.
Who were you working for?
Oh my goodness.
Was it someone interesting?
Yeah, so we are going to go in the Wayback Machine.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we're talking about 2017, right?
Uh-huh.
We're talking about some new batches of legislators that year. We had Chairwoman Victoria Niave was elected, remember?
Yeah.
She won in that really hard,
Yeah, it was a hard race.
expensive
Yeah.
race, right? We had Representative Sean Theory that was elected that year, right? In that special election.
Yeah.
And I worked for Sean.
Sean Terry. Okay, cool.
Yes, when she was a Democrat.
Okay. Yeah. Back when we would say the name.
Yeah, but it was a great year. It was awesome. That's the year that Strauss held up the bathroom bill. Remember?
Yeah.
We had Republican leadership showing up.
Yep.
Saying
Doing the
like,
right
look,
thing.
this has gone too far. Democrats and Republicans working together for the Texas miracle, for our economy, right? Stop marginalizing communities, right? So then that was that year. And then the second session we went and came back was after all those Democrats did those sweeps in 2018.
Yep.
And remember, we had Anna Maria Ramos,
Yep.
Retta Bowers,
Julie
Julie Johnson,
Johnson,
Terry Meza.
Yeah, Meza. That's right.
I mean, that was, and
Jessica
I saw,
Gonzalez.
Jessica. I mean, I actually had the opportunity to work on Retta Bowers' campaign. You know, I saw these amazing women win in 2018. And that's why I knew, like, in 2020, even though people were like, oh, you'll never have enough money, or you'll never get the support, or, oh, you didn't get Dallas Morning News. Like, it's over. We won.
Yeah.
You know, like, and so that's why I tell everybody, if it's in your heart, do it. Don't let anyone tell you what you can do, because the only reason they're saying you can't is because they can't.
Yep.
Is what I've realized. You know?
Yep. They can't
And
see it for themselves.
They can't see it.
But you
yeah.
could. Yeah.
And you know what I felt always in my heart is like the regret of not trying, I knew would always hurt more than like losing the election or not going down to Austin and trying to get the job or whatever.
Yeah.
I just tell everybody, please, please, if you feel in your heart, if you have a calling, like that is your calling. So pick up the phone and let's do it.
Lean into the calling.
Yeah.
Here we are.
I love how you did every like level of tagline. It's like do something, you did something.
Yeah.
Then run for something, then you
something.
ran for it. Like every Democratic tagline to as a call of action, you're like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna run for something.
And I just want to tell every woman out there, look, I'm Romanian American. My family is like an immigrant family. Like I did not speak English until like I went to school. Women, immigrant women, we need more of these voices at the table.
For sure.
More women that look different, sound different.
Yeah.
Have different experiences, because that's how the best legislation is crafted, when they speak up as to what their experience was. And maybe running for office isn't it. Maybe it's just like working on a campaign or going and working for a nonprofit or just anything.
Yeah.
You know, it really does matter.
Doing a podcast.
Yeah, doing a podcast. Volunteering for the Dallas Dems. Becoming a president of a local Democratic club.
Postcards. You know,
Yeah, right,
canvassing.
postcards,
Yeah.
Everything comes together.
Yeah.
You're just one of our most exciting races. I mean, as the feds, we definitely always talk about, and we like kind of list, and it's always, you know, Avery, and it's Liz, and it's Mihaela, always, because we know we have to keep your seat. You know, it's so essential.
You know, I try to remind people I do represent 13 precincts in far North Dallas.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We need you. We got to
but
elect you.
Also, you know, I love Collin County. I love my district. It's ever evolving, you know? It's so diverse. My constituents are very highly educated, and guess what that means? That means we have very high voter turnout. And so what I've been telling candidates who are much higher on the ballot than me is that if you want to win in this county, you have to show up here, because my electorate is educated. They're going to go for the person that's more sensible, that's more in tune with like their needs. They're really not motivated by extremists. And if they were, we would have seen, because all my Republican colleagues got primaried.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And we lost 2. But we kept 3.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And so if they were motivated by the extremists, then we would have lost all of them.
Yeah. Right, because they would have elected the MAGA candidates. Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately for my friend Frederick and Justin, you know, they just were on the right side of guns and public education.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we just can't lose any more good people.
Yeah.
We have to work across the aisle. We have to get people on board, because that's how you pass the best legislation.
100%. And having quality Republicans who will do the right thing makes a real difference.
Yes.
We need them.
Your vote is your voice in November. If they didn't think you were powerful, they would not be trying to suppress it.
Thank you for bringing up the voter suppression, because, you know, I'm chronically online. So I'm watching each state do this, and each state is in play. So like they did in North Carolina, obviously they did in Georgia. But the fact that they're doing it in Texas proves that Texas is in play somewhere that is so scary enough to them where they're throwing people off at the ballots.
And
with
you have to
rolls,
remember, last session we passed a really horrible bill that I called 3 points of orders on. I killed this bill. Republicans brought it up for a motion to reconsider. They did really shady, sneaky stuff. It was a bill to take Texas out of ERIC, which is an electronical system that crowdsources all the voters within the whole nation, that states that participate. So it makes sure that our voter rolls are clean, and make sure that if you have a house in New Mexico, or like how we have a house in Colorado, right, and a house in Texas, that I'm not registered to vote in Colorado and in Texas.
Yeah.
Right? And so it just maintains all our voter rolls. It needs different states to participate, right? So we can kind of crowdsource the information. And you're seeing a bunch of these states that believe the big lie. They're pulling people out of ERIC. And Texas is one of them. And so, yeah, you know.
Did they get it passed? That's happening? We're leaving ERIC?
Yes.
What?
Yes. It's terrible. So this is the first election cycle that we're running under basically dirty rules. And let me tell you this. They're going to create their own system to keep the voter rolls clean. And that will be implemented, guess when? When Governor Abbott is up for re-election. So they're going to have their own system for how to check these voter rolls.
that year.
So our own
Y'all need to vote.
roll
Okay,
system.
y'all need to vote. Y'all heard what Trump said. Y'all only need to do it one more time.
Oh my God.
God.
If that doesn't scare you,
Right?
if
And
that
then we don't
doesn't
need to
scare
vote
you,
no more.
girl, I love to
Oh.
vote. You're not taking that away from me.
No way.
No.
I do want to tell this story because I think that all experiences are valuable in
for sure.
campaigning, especially in competitive districts,
Yeah.
because you
Yeah.
have to talk to Republicans.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You have to talk to independents. You have to talk to everybody.
Yeah.
That's why, honestly, I love my district because I can tell the difference between me and my colleagues. Because I can tell, like, they have not talked to their real constituents in ages.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and I have to talk to them all the time. Republican,
Yep.
Democrats, Independents, Greens, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm talking
Yeah.
to everybody. So I'm knocking doors, and this family's like, they're doing their lawn work outside. And it's me and my campaign manager. They're taking some photos, you know, for social media. What are you doing out here? We're block walking. We're canvassing your neighborhood. I'm your state representative. Oh, I know who you are. You're that Democrat. So the wife comes up to me.
Uh-oh.
She's like, snatches the literature out of my hand. She's like, I don't believe in anything that you stand for. You want to kill babies. You want to let immigrants in. I said, well, what about public education? Oh, those indoctrinating air chambers, you know, like, and I'm trying to find
right.
some
There's
common
something.
ground.
Some way in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something. We've got to find some. I'm like, well, what about this? What about childcare? What about our utilities? What about nothing? Absolutely. I could not find
She didn't want clean water.
She did not want me to be her state representative. She was
Yeah,
upset.
yeah.
She's probably had Republican representation her entire life. You know, I am that one little blue dot that is just irritating her.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
does not sit well with her. And I'm just like trying to like explain to her, like, I am not the enemy. Like, I'm actually trying to fight. What is it that you want me to work on? Right.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, we couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
It was time for me to continue knocking on doors. And so we went our separate ways. I get a letter from her. And it says, I have it. It's framed. It's
Oh, I
one
would've
of my
framed it too. Yeah.
favorite letters.
Yeah.
So it says, Representative Plesa, I don't know if you remember, we had a very strong worded conversation on my stoop. And she said stoop.
Yeah.
Which I was like, I love this woman.
Yeah.
She said stoop. So she's like, we had this very heated conversation on my stoop. And even though I despise everything that you stand for and what your party stands for,
Damn.
that was like actually my second favorite part.
Yeah.
She's like, I cannot basically look away at the fact that you are out there fighting for what you believe in and that you are working for that. And that, you know, that's commendable. And she was basically saying, thank you for working for the community. Even though I don't agree with what you're doing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you're out there working.
And you put in the time to try to find something to agree with her on, because you're
and
right.
she
There
wrote-
probably
and
is
it was
something.
like, she's probably one of my favorite constituents because
Yeah.
we didn't agree. She took the time to write this letter, this note on really beautiful stationery.
Was it handwritten?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
I love
In
that.
cursive.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah.
I loved
Yeah.
it so much. It's literally on my desk. I don't know if that was her common ground, but it's my common ground.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's a
that's
guiding
what
star.
I want to do like every day. Like, look, I'm proud to be in a competitive district. We should all strive
Yeah.
to have more competitive districts.
Yeah.
Republicans and
For sure.
Democrats.
Absolutely.
That's such a good point. You know, instead of trying to draw the map so that it's like an easy election for you, it's like, I think sometimes it gets lost in the sauce that you are working for the people. And it's, you can't curate the people.
Mm-hmm.
You have to work for all the people. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you, it's freeing. It's a beautiful thing out here in competitive districts.
Yeah, yeah.
I hear there's a story to tell about something between you and Abbott.
Abbott's upset with me. And you know what? I understand. If I would have lost so many times, I would be upset too. You know?
Yes.
I'm moving to your district so I can vote for you.
Seriously, right?
Look, so my opponent in 22, she got Abbott's endorsement and she got a bunch of money from him. She got a ton of money from everybody, right? And we won. I mean, it was 821 votes. It was tight. You know, then we went back into the legislature and I voted against vouchers 5 times. Had to tell him no like 5 times, right? He was really trying to get my vote. Maybe he thought I could explain it to my district.
Right.
I don't know, you know. And I was honest. And I was like, sir, recapture. You know, the Robin Hood program is really hurting my school districts. And you guys have made it harder for us to make these payments. You know, you took away our early payment reduction. You know, I was just like, that's my number one issue. So I look at everything through the eyes of recapture. So now how is he going to talk to me about vouchers when
Yeah.
I'm like, let's have this recapture conversation?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of told him, like, I can't vote for vouchers. This is not representative of what our state is about. In our state constitution, it says, Article 7, we have to protect public education. What some of my colleagues need to realize is there's a difference between being a politician and a statesman.
Yes.
Mm.
Okay? A politician, you're thinking about your next election.
Yeah.
Every
A
time.
statesman, you're thinking about the next generation. And in that moment, I was not thinking about my next election.
Yeah. You're thinking about what you went to the state for.
Yeah, I
Yep.
was thinking, like, you're talking about Brinker Elementary.
Yeah.
You're talking about the school that raised me, that I did not speak one lick of English.
Yeah.
And I came in there, right? And those teachers invested in me. And they did not have a Romanian teacher. They
Yeah.
found something that was, okay, what is this? This is a Latin language? Okay, get some, who do we know? Portuguese? Spanish? What do we got?
I could just see them look at you like, she looks, maybe we can get,
Y'all,
yeah.
Maybe it's
you
someone
know
who
how
speaks Italian.
hard- do you know how hard it was for little
Romanian
little
Mihaela in school?
like it was so hard because my parents, right, they were trying to assimilate. They were trying to figure out their like place.
their American dream.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And they're raising this little girl. They want to raise me like, be proud that I'm Romanian, be
Yeah.
proud of our customs, be proud of our traditions, but also assimilate.
Mhm.
So, you know, if you go pull up my yearbooks, my parents changed my name to Michelle Plesa
No way.
Aw.
Oh,
to help me like make friends.
To fit in. Yeah.
And I was Michelle Plesa all through my high school years, and I will never forget specifically driving to North Texas to register for classes and going, my name is Mihaela. Mihaela Elisabetta Plesa. That is my name. And this is my opportunity to be who I really am. And I was thinking to myself, how do I get these American people to pronounce my name? And I was just going to, because no one's going to say Mihaela. Like, no one's going to say that. So I was just like, Mihaela, and I was just like trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
This is why I'm so like mad that people want to take away like diversity, equity, and inclusion, take away history from our books, because I remember being that little girl opening up a history book and wanting to know, like, what did my people contribute to this society, to this state, besides, like, vampires? The hell?
I love me some vampire stories.
But, like, people need to understand, like, when I watched Sesame Street, I was the count, okay, guys?
What a great interview. I agree with Rep Plesa that competitive elections are definitely best for a democracy.
Yeah, I 100% agree. It may seem like easy seats are good, especially if they lean your way politically, but easy seats just lead to complacency, and then we end up with folks who no longer listen or even want to talk to us. I can't remember the last time our senator had a town hall.
Yeah. Cruz is famous for never having town halls. Literally, like, I think he's held two in the past.
And if he's not talking to us or listening to us, then he doesn't know what to fight for us. He's just out there acting like he knows better than us. And based on that beard, he doesn't know better than me.
Can I take his time and answer?
No, you can't have my time. I'm Colin Allred. I'm a fourth-generation Texan. I'm a husband and a father. I was raised here in Dallas by a single mom who's a public school teacher, and I've been shaped by every part of this state. He talks tough, but he never shows up. We have a phrase for this in Texas: all hat and no cattle. This is a pattern for him. He's never there for us when we need him. When the lights went out in the energy capital of the world, he went to Cancun. On January 6th, when a mob was storming the Capitol, he was hiding in a supply closet. And when the toughest border security bill in a generation came up in the United States Senate, he took it down. So to every Texas woman at home, and to every Texas family watching this, understand that when Ted Cruz says he's pro-life, he doesn't mean yours. What I think is that folks should not be discriminated against. And what Senator Cruz should try to explain to you is why he thinks they should. You can't be for the mob on January 6th and for the officers. You can't. And it's not funny, because you're a threat to democracy.
Okay, we keep talking about ballots and propositions, but as you mentioned earlier, there are a lot of other folks on the ballot you should be ready to vote for.
Right. And further down the ballot, the more impact they will have on your day-to-day life.
Exactly. That's why it's important to vote all the way down to the bottom of the ballot. Our ballot is broken down into sections.
Right. And this is true for everybody. At the tippy top is the federal election. So that's your president, your senator, and your House of Representatives.
Exactly. So we're hoping everyone listening to this already knows who they're going to vote for president and senator. So we don't need to spend too much time on those races.
Girl, if you don't.
I mean, it's easy, right? Vote Dem all the way.
It is easy.
Should be.
After that, we have our state senator and our state representatives. Those are the folks, for our Texas listeners, who represent us in Austin.
Yep. And while we really aren't covering the U.S. Supreme Court in this podcast, they're currently kicking all kinds of stuff back to the states for the states to decide, is what they're calling it. And the people in our Texas legislature, those are the people who are deciding these things for us.
Right. Along with our judges.
Yeah, exactly. Which brings us to the judges. In Texas, we vote on our Supreme Court judges and many district judges.
Voting for the Supreme Court on the federal level is something I wish we could do.
I think that seems smart.
Yeah.
We'd like that.
I would love that. I also have a to-do list. Okay, listen up, y'all. No more bribing. End of list.
Okay. Seems reasonable. We'll talk in more depth about judges on the ballot in a later pod, but it's important that you're prepared to vote for all the judges on your ballot from the top to the bottom. Just vote Dem all the way.
Yes, and we keep seeing how important state and local judges are. You may not care, but if you happen to go in front of a judge and they're about to make a life decision about your life, you want somebody who's not going to play politics.
I can honestly say that, okay, I'm not systemically racist, I'm a new racist.
The 7 investigators were the first to reveal the recordings that Oakland County officials say prompted Judge Kathleen Ryan's removal from her docket in August. He's always been concerned Judge Ryan's powerful friends in Oakland County might protect her.
I hate to say it, knock on wood, I really kind of am untouchable. They can't touch me. They can't touch my salary. They can't touch my job. All they can do is have somebody run against me. Good luck.
After the state judges, we then vote on local officials like sheriff, county judges, tax assessor, and there you have it. Add those 18 propositions, and man, that is one long ballot. But with your voter guide in hand, you shouldn't need to spend a ton of time in the voting booth, but just in case, plan to vote early between October 21st and November 1st. Give yourself that time and bring your printed voter guide with you. Remember, no phones allowed in the booth.
Right. And I'm just going to reiterate what Joey just said. You can bring in a cheat sheet. Either you're writing down who you're gonna vote for and what you're gonna vote for, or you bring in one of the handy voter guides that we'll have in our bios, on our website, and also in our episode guide. And again, you cannot bring your phone in. So that means no selfies, no taking pictures of proof that you voted for who you said you're gonna vote for, or even to use as your voter guide. You just can't.
Yep, exactly. And make sure you tell friends and family as well. I mean, everyone should take a printed voter guide or a cheat sheet that they wrote themselves in to vote, because an informed vote is a smarter vote. We're all going to be better off.
Mm-hmm. Joey, you know what time it is?
I do. It is proposition time. Like we said, we're going to cover the props in every episode. So to recap, vote yes on the first 15 propositions, A through R. Vote no on the last 3 propositions, S, T, and U.
Don't vote stupid. No to props S, T, and U. Cops and politicians are both telling us to vote no on these. Not since season 1 of Law & Order have cops and politicians agreed on anything.
I mean, that is how bad these are.
I mean, seriously. Like, season 1? The 90s?
Yes. I remember it well.
And the fact that someone who doesn't even live in Dallas is bankrolling these props tells you how bad they are.
100%.
Yeah, because it's not going to affect them, but it will affect us. And there's 3 million of us in Dallas or something like that? No.
Yeah, but Dallas, DFW, I want to say, is 6 or 8 million? 6 million, I want to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One
the city,
person.
I think you're right, is 3 or something.
That's 3 million of us that would feel this effect to this one person just throwing money at this.
Psychos. Don't forget to sign up for our newsletter. You'll receive our podcast directly to your inbox, along with episode guides available with more info, links that what we've talked about, and more on our guests.
We're making this really easy for you, just like voting should be.
Thank you for joining us, and remember,
don't vote stupid.
Get Pod Local was recorded at Hello Studios in downtown Dallas.
A Trinity Underground studio production. You can find us everywhere you get your podcasts.
Episodes will drop continuously until we help retire Ted Cruz to his Cancun podcast studio.